weekend, and you know what that means. We have a full 2 days to read, so we decided to do another swap your screen time for read time.
We do love doing these videos as often as we can because we do spend a lot of time on our phones. So whenever we have the weekend free, we do like to do these to catch up on some of our reading. In the past, my screen time has been a little bit ridiculous. I know at one point it was like 8 hours.
Yeah, that's bad.
That was very bad. Last week, my screen time average was 6 hours and 16 minutes. So some progress. Still not good.
That's crazy. Is that average daily?
Yeah, total.
That's kind of crazy.
My total screen time last week was 43 hours and 52 minutes. I'm like this for 43 hours. That's like 2 days.
I don't know why I'm acting like that's crazy when mine's more than yours at 6 hours and 23 minutes. But 6 hours a day?
Imagine all that reading I could have done by then.
I was thinking maybe it was a lot of time on like YouTube and watching shows, but mine says entertainment was only 2 hours and 11 minutes a day. So I don't know where this is coming from. It's social media. That's kind of a problem. So today we're going to be swapping that time out and we're going to sit here and read.
I'm thinking like 6 hours and 30 minutes will be fine.
Yeah. So the book I'm going to read today is Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R Miller. I always accidentally say that these are retellings, but they're not. They're reimaginings. They're just lightly based on Hades and Persephone. So it's a darker romance. I know this is book 1 in this series. Hopefully I really like it and then I can buy the rest. I have read other Hades and Persephone inspired books in the past and I didn't love them because I thought that Hades needed to be more evil and more of a villain. So since this is a dark romance, I'm hoping this gives that to me. I don't really know anything about it other than it is based on Hades and Persephone. It's dual point of view and I believe there's like arranged marriage. So I'm excited.
The first book I'm going to start with is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell is very popular in the mystery thriller genre and I've had this book for a while. It's been sitting on my shelf for quite some time. So I am really excited to read it and hopefully enjoy her writing. I did look on Goodreads and this book has almost 500,000 reviews and it's sitting at a 4.06 stars. So I think that's really good. I know this mystery thriller does have that missing person trope and I haven't read many of those, but I do have really high hopes for this one.
Okay, so these are our first books. We have a long day of reading ahead of us, so we're just gonna go ahead and start. We have our timer here. We're gonna set it for 6 hours and 30 minutes and then every time we stop to update you guys, we will stop the timer, but we're just gonna go ahead and get started.
Okay, so we've been reading for a little bit. We're about a third of the way into our book, so we do know a lot more of what's happening right now. In mine right now, we are following our main character, Laurel, and basically her 15-year-old daughter went missing 10 years ago, and there has really been no answers other than she ran away. Like, that's the police's guess, is that, well, she just picked up and ran away. But Ellie was like the perfect girl. She had the most gorgeous boyfriend. She had the best grades in school. She was about to go to college. It just doesn't add up on why she would run away. Laurel is still having a really hard time moving on with her life, and it seems like everyone else in her family has kind of just come to terms with it. It's been 10 years, like they're ready to move on. Both of Laurel's other children were so eager to move out when they could. Like as soon as they were grown enough to, they left and they're not in like great contact with their mom. Laurel and her husband ended up getting a divorce. Her husband is now with a new woman. So it just seems like, you know, everybody has moved on and she is still stuck in the same spot. She wants answers and it's completely understandable. So after years of Laurel feeling like her life has stalled, she does eventually meet a very charming man named Floyd. They do start forming a relationship and she eventually meets his daughter Poppy, who has a very weird resemblance towards her missing daughter Ellie. Right away, as soon as we're introduced to Poppy, Laurel is shocked. This girl really does look just like her. She doesn't want to scare her and she really likes this guy, so she doesn't want to ruin anything. But that's kind of where I am right now. She's still involved with this family. She's learning more about Poppy and Floyd. She kind of feels herself like being happy again and smiling, but there are pretty crazy resemblances between Ellie and Poppy and she just can't unsee it.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I immediately would have said something.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, how do you not say like, this kid looks like my missing kid?
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. I will say right off the bat, it's definitely written differently. You get multiple POVs, but it's also in third person. And we're kind of going back from like what has happened to Ellie. Like they're telling us
oh, okay,
what's happened to her. We kind kind of already know like what's going on. We know something that Laurel doesn't know.
I like books like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I like it.
That sounds more interesting than mine.
Oh.
But I do know a lot more about mine. One of our point of views is Elena, and she is the daughter of a mob boss. I was not expecting a mafia romance, but you guys know that I've really been into those lately, so I'm kind of happy that it is. Cal, our other point of view, is somehow a doctor, but also works with Elena's father. So he also has like a sketchy kind of side job. He's basically everything that I would think a modern day Hades would be. He's definitely a villain, like I could tell already, but I kind of already like him. Elena right now is already set up for an arranged marriage with some other guy. It's basically a marriage for convenience. Her family wants to marry into that family, so she doesn't really have a choice in the matter, and she's kind of already accepted it. We are thrown in and it's already her wedding day, like chapter 1. It almost kind of feels like there should have been a prequel to this book. I kept looking to make sure this was book 1 and that I wasn't missing anything, because we are definitely just thrown into the action of everything. She actually already has a past with Cal as well. Like, they've already met. He's basically known her his whole life. Elena and Cal have very much already hooked up. Like, all of that has already happened. The initial connection is already there. Cal does not want this marriage to happen. He's gonna do everything in his power to make sure that she doesn't have to marry this man, which I love already. It is a bit of an age gap though. I wasn't expecting him to be so old. He's like 32.
That is not old.
No, I mean he's old for her. She's like 22. Okay. That's a whole 10-year difference.
We should started with that.
Yeah. Sorry. On the day of the wedding, someone is blackmailing Elena's father, and basically Cal has to marry her instead. That's all I'm gonna say, because that's all I really know. But I already like how they're being forced to be together from the get-go. It looks like there's gonna be forced proximity because she's gonna have to go live with him. It kind of feels like enemies to lovers because she doesn't want to marry Cal either, but they do already have a connection. So I'm just trying to see how the romance is gonna form, and we know that Cal is having some kind of like plan behind all of this. I don't know what that entails. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited to find out. So it's going okay so far. It is kind of a quicker read since we're kind of already just thrown into everything. I'm yet to figure out like the actual plot. I would say it's already better than Neon God, so it's already steamy, and I'm only a third of the way in. Steamy, like very much so.
Like how many chili peppers?
That's so personal preference. I don't know. I would say already a 3 at least though. So that's pretty much our first update. We have 4 hours and 16 minutes left to go. So we're just gonna go ahead and keep on reading, and then we will update you guys again in a little bit. Okay, we're back. We've read more. We basically only have a third left, so we thought this would be a good place to stop and tell you guys what's going on. You go first because yours sounding good.
I don't want to spoil anything. Like,
right.
My intention is not to spoil anything, so I don't want to talk about like a whole lot that's going on. We kind of already know what's happening. Like, I thought it was gonna be a thriller and like have some twists, but it's like I already know the answers. I know where it's going. I'm just waiting for Laurel to figure it all out pretty much. But then I'm kind of wondering, like, would I have enjoyed it even more guessing with her?
Probably.
I probably would have. But this is an interesting way of doing it. Poppy's just a really weird girl. She doesn't have the characteristics that someone her age should have. Laurel is just realizing there's way too many coincidences for it to be a coincidence, and she is trying to connect the dots because her mother instinct is like, there is something really crazy going on here. Laura doesn't have the best relationship with her son. After this whole thing with Ellie, she couldn't be a mother to them. She is just sad and can't be there for them the way that she was before. She's completely distant to her son and his girlfriend, and his girlfriend calls the mom, Laurel, and tells her, I don't mean to be like intruding or anything, but when I met Floyd, he had completely dark auras. Like, everything about him was just bad. And she is like, how are you gonna come to me? Like, I'm finally starting to move on and like be happy, and now you're telling me that he has dark auras. But it's like, girl, you feel it too. Like, you see that this man is with this little girl who looks just like your daughter, so why would you even question her? It's going good. I'm super entertained. I mean, there's only a little bit left. Laurel is about to find out what has happened, and I hope she goes crazy. Like, I hope some things go down.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah.
I hope everything happens the way you want it to. Okay, let me get into mine. Basically, all that's really happened is they were forced into that marriage. He took her to like the island he owns or something that's far away from her family, and they're kind of just living together now. I'm really shocked kind of by the pacing of the story, because normally in dark romances, stuff is constantly happening, especially with the subplots, and this is kind of just almost slowed down and is very much just about their relationship or lack thereof. You have Cal, who is very standoffish, like he's one of those grumpy, like doesn't want to let anyone in, doesn't trust anyone. Elena's kind of like, I'm your wife, I want to get to know you, I don't know anything about you. She's feeling very lonely there, and their only way of communication is really just hooking up. So very much on the steamy scenes. I mean, there is a bunch. It's kind of sad to see too, because that's the only time they really connect. He refuses to just like let her in, so I'm kind of just waiting for that to happen. We know that Cal and his relationship with Elena's family is not very good. I mean, they are mafia. They took him in when he was really young, so you know that there's like trauma there. He doesn't like her family. I'm thinking some part of like whatever he's scheming has to do with them. We still don't know much about his plan. There's also still someone blackmailing them, even though they're like away on this island that no one's supposed to know about. They keep getting like creepy messages and flash drives and stuff sent of videos of them. He doesn't know who this is. I'm kind of more intrigued to figure out like who that is and what that's about. I'm really surprised that nothing much is really happening, but I guess it's sweet too, because you're more learning about them and trying to get them to start a romance, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they have steamy scenes for people who don't know each other. So if you're into that, I would get into this. I don't really have any predictions for the end because I really don't even know. Nothing much is really happening. I'm hoping there's like a twist or something when they discover who's blackmailing them. I don't know.
Okay, so we're just gonna continue reading. We're gonna finish the book, but we do have 2 hours and 40 minutes left, so I think that's plenty of time for us to finish our books. So we're gonna finish reading and then update you guys with our final thoughts.
Guys, we finished our books. You go first. You go first.
This book was just very sad. It was more sad than it was thrilling. I just feel so bad for the characters. A lot happened. Laurel didn't react the way that I was expecting her to, so that was a little bit disappointing, but I still really did like the story. I thought it was very interesting. I can definitely see this being adapted into a movie. It probably already is.
It probably is.
The whole time I could imagine everything so easily, the characters, the setting. I do think I'm going to give it a 4 stars. So if you want to read this book, just know that you do learn early on what has happened. I feel like even if you read the summary, it pretty much tells you exactly what the twist is. I still thought it was really entertaining. I did like Lisa Joel's writing. I definitely think I'll read another book by her.
Good. I'm like, because I'm sure you have some.
I probably do.
I'm glad you liked your book, because I just don't think I could say the same thing about myself. I'm so sad that I didn't love this book. I thought I was going to. It showed promise in the beginning. And then at the end, just pomegranates. The plot was underdeveloped. The characters, the romance, I just didn't find believable. Like I said, the only time they would connect is when they were hooking up, and that's fine. Toxic, but fine if that's how you want to do it. I was just expecting so much more. I don't want to say that mafia romances aren't for me. I think I just truly haven't found one that I love. I don't even think you could consider this a mafia romance. I almost think they only use that so they could have the arranged marriage trope. The whole part that I was saying, I was waiting for like the mystery aspect. I was waiting to find out who was blackmailing them and why, was so irrelevant to the plot. So I just don't know. I don't know what happened here. I think it just wasn't for me. You guys do know though, I'm very much a plot person, so that could be why. I think if you're just really into romance and smutty scenes, this might be the book for you. I was just waiting for something more to happen. I don't think I would continue on with the series. They had that freaking epilogue that I hate to read about. I do think Cal was a better Hades than the one in Neon Gods. If you have read this series though and you like the other books better, let me know. Maybe I can pick those up and they will be better, but I don't know about this one, you guys. I don't know. The main character is really hot though.
That was it for our first day. I'm sorry you didn't like your book that much.
It was okay. I didn't hate it. It wasn't no twisted love.
Right. Okay, right. Well, I'm happy we got another book read for the month. Now it's time to go get back on our phones.
Oh, yeah. Now we can get on social media. No.
We will continue tomorrow with new books
and read another 6.5 hours.
Good are ready for our second day of reading. I feel like it went by pretty fast yesterday, so I think it'll be a breeze today too. We have picked out 2 books that we've been wanting to read for a while now. So we have 6 hours and 30 minutes today to get through them.
The one I have for today is Gallant by VE Schwab. I'm so excited. This is gonna be my first VE Schwab book. This one I believe is like a YA fantasy-esque story. I know that it's surrounding this creepy house, so I'm excited to learn more about it. If I like this, I am gonna read more by this author. She has a couple series that I've been wanting to read, so I'm ready to get into this one.
The one I chose for today is The Bodyguard by Katherine Center. It's time. It's time to read it. And honestly, right now, specifically on BookTube, I've seen a lot of girls talk about this recently and they say they really like it. So, I mean, I think I'm gonna like it as well. We did get the opportunity to see Katherine Center at Christina Lauren's book signing. She was kind of like hosting the event. She was super cool, super funny. So I feel like that's gonna translate into her writing for sure. I know this bodyguard romance is actually kind of opposite. We have the girl being the bodyguard, and I think that is so cool. I've heard it's just a really fun rom-com, so I'm pretty excited to start reading this after my crazy book I had yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't love mine yesterday, so I'm hoping this one comes through. You guys know the drill. We're just gonna start reading and we will update you guys when we know more. Okay, you guys, first update. We've been reading for about 2 hours, so we know a lot more about our books. I'm actually really loving mine, which is so refreshing because yesterday's book was just not for me. This one, I already can tell that I love the writing. I know we just talked about how you don't love descriptive writing, but I said there's like a good in between. This one is perfect. Our main character's name is Olivia, and she's a 16-year-old orphan, and she's also mute. She's been living at this orphanage since she was about 2, so that's all she's really known. And the only item that she has connecting her to her past is a journal that used to be her mother's. Since she's mute, she can't really communicate with a lot of people, especially the girls her age and the people at the orphanage. So her only real connection to the outside world is her mother's journal. Throughout that, we see a lot of diary entries, and we see that her mom kind of went mad and realized she couldn't care for Olivia anymore, and that's why she decided to leave her at the orphanage, which is really sad. What I did find interesting is Olivia can actually see ghosts, so that's so creepy, okay? They call them ghouls. Even though they can't harm her, they don't really interact with her. It's so creepy to see that there's just like a little girl ghost sitting in the corner. She ends up receiving a letter at the orphanage from an uncle she didn't even know existed, who is summoning her back home to Gallant. She didn't even know she had any family left alive, so she goes, and when she gets there, she realizes that no one in the house sent her the letter. So we have this spooky house now as the setting. We have this mystery of who sent her there and why, and in her mother's journal, she did write to her, like, you will be safe as long as you stay away from Gallant. And that's where she is now, so I'm just so ready to see what's gonna happen. It's been so good so far.
Bodyguard is super cute so far. It's exactly what I needed right now. Just something nice and easy to read. Right away, we're introduced to Hannah Brooks, and she is kind of just going through a lot right now. She just recently lost her mom, and her boyfriend just broke up with her, and he's like gonna go sleep with her best friend. So she's just going through so much right at the beginning of this book, and she just wants to distract herself with work. She just wants to go be a bodyguard for someone, get into a case, and like get lost in that. Her boss wants her to be the bodyguard of Jack Stapleton, and he's like this really big movie star, super hot, like sexiest man alive kind of guy. I'm trying to figure out who I picture him as because this little cartoon is like not giving me anything.
Yeah.
I can't really figure out. It would have to be like some kind of Marvel character, maybe like a Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
Chris Evans, one of the Chris's.
Yeah.
Hannah is to be the bodyguard of Jack Stapleton while he is in Houston, which first of all, the fact that it's even set in Houston is so fun because throughout this book they are mentioning things that are about Houston and around Houston, and
you love that.
I just love that so much. I love the representation. So right now, Hannah just doesn't really want to be Jack Stapleton's bodyguard, but she ends up just committing to the job. She goes to his house, and Jack thinks that she's the maid. Like, he's literally like, oh, are you here to clean? And she's like, no. He doesn't think that she looks like the typical bodyguard, but she's like, honey, I can kill you right now. I can like throw you over. And she does. She like proves to him that I can do this. He's like blown away with her. They immediately after that kind of have this like fun friend connection. Jack does tell her that he needs this to be a secret. His mom is sick right now, so Jack doesn't want his mom worrying about him and like, why do you need a bodyguard? Why do you have this stalker? So that of course means they're going to have to fake date, which Hannah is just like, I do not want to be doing this right now, but whatever. So they're having a fake date, which you know is already so cute. That trope alone is one of my favorites, and I'm excited to see their romance go further.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for our first update. We're gonna go ahead and keep reading, and then we'll update you guys a little bit later. Okay guys, update number 2. It's been 2 more hours. We have 4 hours left. Can I just say, this book is scary. If you weren't here right now with me, I think I'd be terrified. I don't know how this is YA. I think something just about the house is so eerie, and the mystery there, it just adds to the atmosphere. We know a lot more about this house, okay? As soon as she gets there, she meets this cousin she didn't know she had, and he is very much from the beginning like, you need to leave, you don't belong here, save yourself and get out of here. Me personally, I would have been terrified, and I would have took that warning and left. But she honestly has nowhere else to go. Like, she just came from the orphanage. She doesn't want to go back. She finally found out she has a family and a place to go home to. Of course she doesn't want to leave. We do know as soon as she gets there too that her uncle that supposedly wrote to her has passed away 2 years ago. They're like, he didn't write to you, I don't know who did, but you're not welcome here basically. And the housekeeper is kind of like, let her stay, it's her home too, you know, so she's just kind of there exploring the house. And just strange things are happening. Something's up with the cousin. He has these really bad nightmares. Everyone's kind of just warning her about this wall in the garden, right? Which is so strange, and every time she's out there, she feels like she's being watched, and it's just like spooky, ooky stuff happening. Naturally, someone that curious wants to check it out and see why everyone is talking about it. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not gonna go into what's behind there, but it's crazy. We are learning more about what happened in the past, what happened to her mom, and we're still trying to piece together like what's going on at the house now. So I think it's so good. It's so entertaining. It's moving fast. And then something else they do include in the book, which I thought was really cool, is they have a whole section of like her mom's journal. So you see like everything, the drawings and the notes that her mom had in the journal. So I thought that was just a cool addition, but yeah, I'm really, really into it so far.
So Jack and Hannah are staying at Jack's ranch house. Like I said earlier, Hannah just recently lost her mom, and Jack actually has lost his little brother not too long ago too. Jack's older brother has a lot of resentment towards him because he just feels like because Jack was there when his little brother passed that he kind of has a lot to do with it, and he could have like changed the outcome a little bit. But I do like that that aspect has been added, and both of these characters can kind of relate to each other with having lost someone very important to them. They are at the ranch house. They are getting to know each other a lot more. I think it's so funny, like when there's a celebrity character and they're kind of talking to like just a normal person. She's asking him about movies and like kisses that he's done and stuff, and he's just like, none of that is real. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. My mom doesn't care who I was dating before because she knows none of that is ever real. Like, it's just all press. And I truly think that's how it is, like, right now. I love pop culture. This ranch house, they are obviously expected to sleep in the same room because they are together, and there is one bed in this room. So you would think there'd be some, like, steaminess happening, but nothing has really happened yet. Like I thought there would be. It's kind of more of like a slow burn, but I'm like, come on, like I'm waiting for it to happen. So I'm hoping by the end of this book, something kind of steamy happens. And I hope that Jack can heal like whatever's going on with him and his brother and his family and just kind of have that like final closure. We have a little bit over 2 hours left, so we're just gonna keep reading.
We did finish. This was so good. I really can't tell you much about what happened because it would be spoiling it, but just know that I was thoroughly entranced in this book the entire time, start to finish. It was so good. The way everything unraveled at the end, I wasn't even really predicting anything that was gonna happen. I was just along for the ride and everything was so good. I mean, at least 4 stars. I kind of wish that there was a sequel. I don't necessarily think they need one. I just really like this world. It had the perfect amount of everything. Spooky, mystery, the characters were great. Found family. I really like stories that have like shadow magic type things, so let me know if there are any other books because I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, really good. So much better than yesterday.
I really enjoyed mine too. I'm thinking another 4-star for me. This one was just your typical fun rom-com. The characters are really likable, the story's likable, the setting is beautiful. I mean, they're at a ranch. I will say though, the smut never happened, which I'm kind of shocked about, because when you have cartoon characters like this, they are super smutty and you wouldn't think so, but this one didn't have any. So I'm guessing Katherine Center just kind of stays away from that. I would recommend this to some of the readers who do not like smut, or a beginner reader who you don't want to scare with all of that at the beginning. I did like the way everything ended. Their romance was really cute overall. I feel like the end, like the really big thing that happens at the end to where Hannah needs to go in and be like the bodyguard, was a lot. It was kind of unnecessary and like unbelievable, and I felt like the message behind that whole event was just a lot for this little cute rom-com. But I mean, it was still a really cute story. I think I'm gonna give it the 4 stars. I am interested in reading more by Katherine Center. I think like little rom-com books like this are so perfect for whenever you kind of need to drift away after reading some serious books, so I recommend.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Bye. No, 2 books in 2 days.
We have no excuse.
We should be doing this every weekend.
I know.
I know we say it every time, but it's just so crazy.
It's like eye-opening every time, and then we go right back.
And then we go right back
on our phones. Yeah.
2 great books. Well, 1.5 good books for me. We know we've had a lot of shopping videos going out recently, so we're glad we were able to break it up with some actual reading.
Comment down below and let us know if you have read any of these books and your thoughts on them, or if you want to read any of these books now. My birthday did just pass, so I do want to show you guys what I got and do a little book haul. Lauren always has books to haul as well, so it just works out. So Friday will be a book haul video.
And that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watch this whole thing, they're always so long. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Is there hair? Oh, we haven't been here in a while.
I know. This is like where we used to be.
Cute. Oh, no.
Smut never happened, which I'm kind of shocked about because, you know, traditionally...
Not traditionally.
When you have cartoon characters like this, they are the worst. Like, I don't mean the worst. They are super smutty. Just really cute so far, and I'm excited to see their romance
bloom.
And I'm excited to see their romance bloom. I really enjoyed mine too. I'm thinking another 4-star for me. 2 for 2 out here. Ew. We spend over 6 hours on our phone a day, and that's about what it takes us to finish a book. So there's no excuse for us not reading that much at the end of the month.
How are we not reading? Okay, let's say we did read a book every month. That's 30 books. You're telling me we're not even reading half of that? We're not even reaching 15? Insane.
What are we doing?
Dude.
We're just on TikTok all day.
I need to like put my phone somewhere for the whole. Anyway, let me get to the books.